Guys and dolls, good morning. Microphone would help. Guys and dolls, Freedom Dad here. And I'm going to bring an interesting video right now. Everything that's been going on in the last couple of days with Ramadan, the celebrations in London, the decorations, the amount of money poured into it, you know, the call to prayer in Windsor Castle, Keir Starmer and all the Labour front benchers just bigging up all these amazing people and how great they are in our country and how... Let's hear what Starmer says first. Let's get a wee quick look at what Starmer says, and then we'll take it from there.
To say thank you. Thank you for the incredible contribution of British Muslims to the United Kingdom, something we're really proud of across the whole of our society. In every community in Britain, you see Muslims making a difference, helping to deliver every single one of the government's missions. In business, helping to grow our economy. In education, giving our young people the opportunities that they deserve. In our NHS, of course. In charity work, British Muslims are amongst the most generous group in the United Kingdom and beyond. So I must say thank you to you.
Okay, enough of that. I know how that makes people feel. So let's analyse, let's have a good look, right? And let's see what the truth is about Britain and this other community, that our government and our king are so keen to push onto our country and force us to accept. I'm going to start with Andrew Tate. And it's not just Andrew Tate, it's Labuna, a Muslim, a Pakistani Muslim. Because there's no point listening to anybody else right now, because if we listen to anybody else, they're just going to call them a racist. But you can't call Labuna a racist. And Andrew Tate is a Muslim. He's been a Muslim for 2 years. So let's hear Muslims talk about Muslims. Because that's the only way we're going to get to the bottom of this, aren't we? Here we go.
With
Grooming
UK.
gangs.
Yeah. And then I look at some of the tweets. Here's a couple of the tweets that you had for people reacting to you because you were going strong to what was going on in UK. And you said, if you don't believe in the way the system that UK has, get out. I don't care who you are.
Correct.
You were very clear about it.
Correct.
You were very thorough about it.
Correct.
The response came back to you from the Muslim community, and it wasn't pretty. They were attacking you, right?
Yep.
And one of your response here that I have on the tweet, it says, Islam hate comes from Muslims who think they have to defend the disgusting actions that other Muslims commit instead of admitting that a religion can be perfect and people are not.
Yep.
Muslim must condemn the disgusting child rape openly and verbally, or the entire religion will be done. And then you respond back, Muslims who refuse to understand the crime Islamophobia instead of addressing the serious issue is only going to garner reassessment. These grooming gangs would not be tolerated in an Islamic country. It's time for Muslims to stand up against all. And then there's more of these that I can read.
Yep.
Okay.
Just going to jump in here, guys. So you can see Labuna agreeing, you know. It's, you know, if you don't like it, why be here? Why come here and push all your religious stuff onto us in a Christian country? Why leave your own country to do that to us? Why demand all these things? This is going to be a very interesting video, guys, so please stick with it. I will try not to jump in too much. Please stick with it to the end. I've got some amazing stuff to bring at the end. It's going to blow you away, guys, if you haven't seen it. It really is, like, so stick with this for me.
2 years, 2.5 years, something like that. How much do you link that to the issues that UK is facing?
So the UK does have a problem where a lot of the culture is being eroded, and it's being eroded by an Islamic immigration. And this is going to make Muslims mad when I say it, but I understand why the native Brits feel threatened by that and are unhappy with that.
So Andrew Tate spitting some truths, you know. So we're going to see a lot of this coming out, guys. There's going to be a lot of people coming to our defence right now. A lot of people are going to be telling the world what's going on because we can't speak about it. But this next bit is really interesting. This is a man from United Emirates, you know. So this is a Muslim man that lives in a Muslim area. These are the Muslim country. So these are the most important people that we need to listen to. And I'm going to bring a couple of these people to you in this video. So please pay attention. Listen very carefully.
Foreign minister. Did you ever see what he said?
Mm.
the UAE foreign minister. Find his video where he talks about the Islamization of Western nations. And he's saying that you're allowing extremism to foster in your countries because you think you know Islam better than we do. And we don't allow these ideologies in our own Islamic nations. And you're allowing them in the West. And you think
It is right there.
let's play this video.
There will come a day that we will see far more radical extremists and terrorists coming out of Europe because of lack of decision-making, trying to be politically correct, or assuming that they know the Middle East and they know Islam and they know the others far better than we do. And I'm sorry, but that's pure ignorance.
So I'm going to bring a couple of people on this video. Very, very interesting. And you got to understand, there's nobody talking like this in this country. You know, the Labour government are silencing everybody who's trying to warn anybody else. And it's quite scary. And I just want you to listen to Lubuna here. She gives a wee bit of her insight of what she goes through and just the general consensus of what's going on in Britain.
Would do, because they said that to me when I said that any Muslim who is not outraged by the crimes committed by Muslims is part of the problem.
And Muslims do that to me as well. If they don't like anything a fellow Muslim says, oh, you're not a Muslim anyway. This whole nonsense is getting so boring now.
And this is the identity politics problem, right? We had this with blacks and George Floyd, et cetera, and all these things, and BLM. If a black person commits crime, then black people should stand up and say, I don't care if he's black, he committed a crime.
Yep.
But when you have people who rally around somebody purely because of their religion or the color of the skin, irregardless of their actions, that's how you foster hate. If you want to give racists what they want, and I'm part black, part white, if you want to make white people hate black people, all that takes is for black people to defend a black person who breaks the law. Now they're like, well, all you black people are a problem because this guy was a criminal and you're sticking up for him. So what I was saying is that the Muslims who complain that Islam is hated in the West, they're making it worse by sticking up for grooming gangs and serial murderers. I don't care what race or religion you are. If you're killing little girls, you're a scumbag. And in an Islamic nation, you would face the death penalty. So I don't care if it doesn't make me a real Muslim for that. I don't care. But I will be honest. I'll be very honest. What he said is extremely interesting. Because when I say these things online, I get no pushback and no hate from the Gulf Arabs. I get no pushback and no hate from the first world Muslims. None of that. It's only from the extremists. And the extremists are all living in Bradford. They're all living in the UK. It's really interesting that the most extreme points of view I get for the things I say about Islam are from England. It's never from the Islamic and the Arabic world. I saw another.
And in England, sadly, we've imported all the people from third world countries. And yes, my own parents were born in Pakistan. That doesn't mean I'm going to defend all Pakistani people, because having gone to Pakistan many times, I know exactly generally the type of mindset these people have.
Another really interesting thing, actually. I'd like someone to find it. It was a post I saw on Twitter from a Pakistani guy. And he said, I'm from Pakistan. I live in Islamabad. And I was recently in Birmingham. And it felt more Islamic. And it was more backward thinking than anything you would see in Pakistan. He said Islamabad is a far more liberal place to live than Birmingham, UK. He's saying the Pakistanis who are still in Islamabad are less Islamic and less extreme about things than those inside of Birmingham, UK.
Because the Pakistanis in Birmingham, UK are not from the cities in Pakistan. They are from villages. And they, like I've spoken about the whole hillbilly thing, Andrew Tate has noticed that as well, guys. Hillbillies.
So you can.
Great. Hillbillies. That's all we needed now. So as we start to investigate and look into what the government have done to our country, who are the government bringing into our country, who are the government taking into Windsor Palace, who are the government telling us that we can't criticise, they're hillbillies. And that's not from me. That's from a Muslim from Pakistan who knows these people. You hear what everybody's saying. Right, I'm going to wrap that one up, right? I'm going to, because Andrew Tate's Andrew Tate, okay? Like Lubuna, you can't say nothing against Lubuna. She's a Pakistani woman who lives here, right? Amazing woman who integrates, who sends her kids to our schools, who loves our traditions and cultures. But let's hear from another Muslim that doesn't live in the United Kingdom and what he thinks about what's going on in our once great country.
Welcome back. Well, Middle East expert Amjad Tahar joins me now in the studio. And to be honest, I was going to ask you about foreign affairs, and then we've just had a little chat in the break and you've been talking about Britain's extremism problem. You're somebody who speaks out against anti-Semitism. You speak out in favour of moderate Islam as opposed to extremist Islam. What's your analysis of the state of affairs in Britain? Because we've got the Labour government right now considering defining Islamophobia in a way that some say might open the back door to blasphemy laws.
I think you have more. Well, thank you for having me. And I think you have more extremists in UK than you have in the Middle East.
What? We've got more extremists in Great Britain than we have in the Middle East? That's not what Stormer's telling us. Hold on, let me check this again.
I think you have more extremists in UK than you have in the Middle East.
Well, Labour have kept that quiet, haven't they? Let's continue.
Really?
At this stage, absolutely. The things that some of the Islamists say in various mosques, and we have been seeing that online, the terminology they use, the analysis they make, the statements they actually make, they would not be able to say it all the way in Afghanistan, for example, or in Iraq.
So how has this been allowed to flourish in the UK? What's your analysis of
in
that?
the name of democracy? So the Muslim Brotherhood, who are the Islamists, who are the main ones, are ruling and controlling in various press when it comes to the Muslim society and community in the UK. They control the whole narrative, and the Muslim Brotherhood and the Islamists are the radical Islamists. They are the Islamists, and they use the freedom of speech in a manner where they will be anti-Semite in the name of freedom of speech. I absolutely stand against that, because I think anti-Semitism is not an opinion, it's a crime, and a crime against humanity. And once you allow that, on the 7th of October, for example, when it happened, the genocide against the Israelis, what I saw and what we witnessed is the fact that some Islamists all the way from here in Small Heath, in Al Amrak, in Birmingham, and other areas, we saw their voices. It was pro-Hamas.
Yes.
And Hamas, as a force which carried that genocide in Gaza and also in Israel, it's actually the armed forces of the Muslim Brotherhood. Muslim Brotherhood in my country, for example, UAE, where Muslim, where Arab, is banned, but however is not banned in the United Kingdom.
So it should be banned?
Absolutely, because they use the freedom of speech to censor your right to speak against them.
Now, as you can see exactly what I've been saying, the reason why Islamophobia laws are coming out is to silence us so we don't speak against them. But you got to remember, this is our government that are working on behalf of these men. This is our government, the agents of the Muslim Brotherhood. There's no two ways about it. You can see how they're behaving. You can see how we're being attacked. You can see how they're opening the doors and clearing the roads for a clear path for the complete takeover. And there's no two ways about it. We've got Muslims all around the world aghast at what's going on in Great Britain, but yet our Prime Minister is standing there in that ridiculous voice going, we are glad that the Muslims are here because they're so good, they're really good, they're good, they're top of their game in the money, they're top of their game at teaching, they're top of their game, this, that and the other. It's mental. It's absolutely nuts, crazy. And everybody is absolutely shocked and horrified of what this far left government are doing to its people. And this is what these videos are about, to gather proof. I'm going to bring a video of a man. I'm not going to mention his name because I don't like him. And he slaughters Christianity. That's what he does for a living, slaughters Christianity. But let's look at the fear when he's asked about Islam.
Debate about this ISIS bride, Shamima Begum, whether she should be allowed to come back to this country. Do you have a view about that?
I'd rather not say.
You'd rather not say?
I haven't studied it enough.
Well, she was married to an ISIS fighter.
I know.
She was but she was 15 when she went out there. The debate really is, was she groomed to be part of this terror group in Syria? And as such, should we show mercy and allow her back to this country?
Yes, I'm not going to say about that.
Are you worried about, do you get threats because of the positions you've taken on some of these things? Yeah. When you saw what happened to Salman Rushdie, didn't send a shudder through you? Are you saying no, you don't want to talk about it? Or?
Yes.
Right. I mean, that's interesting in itself. Because there are areas which you would prefer not to discuss.
Yes. I should have said that before we started.
What's the problem? Oh, Islam, it's the religion of peace. What's wrong with you, mate? You talk about Mary not being a virgin and the ridiculousness of Christ coming back, the resurrection, you ridicule Christianity all over YouTube. Cat got your tongue? Very strange. Very strange behaviour. But are we surprised? No, because people are terrified. People are absolutely terrified. And we've got it on our doors. We've got it here. It's all around us. You know, you can see what the government are doing to our country. And this is how other people are behaving. Does our government think we're absolutely stupid? Does our government think that we don't have the internet? Does our government not think that we can research things? Let's hear what Trump's got to say.
There can be no coexistence with this violence. There can be no tolerating it, no accepting it, no excusing it, and no ignoring it. Every time a terrorist murders an innocent person and falsely invokes the name of God, it should be an insult to every person of faith. Terrorists do not worship God. They worship death. This is a battle between good and evil. When we see the scenes of destruction in the wake of terror, we see no signs that those murdered were Jewish or Christian, Shia or Sunni. We see only that they were children of God whose deaths are an insult to all that is holy.
So it seems that everybody's aware of what's going on apart from our British government, you know. They've got no care about us civilians, the damage and the danger that they're putting us all in. They don't care about maybe looking at the damage and the danger they're putting her in the future. Because we can see what's going on. We can see what everybody's telling us. We're being warned from everybody that you are doing something wrong here. You are going to destroy your country. We've got people from the Emirates. We've got people from Muslim countries all around the world warning us, screaming and shouting at us. Yous are nuts. Yous are nuts what yous are doing. But our government insists on putting us in so much danger. I'm going to finish with this clip. And I'll say a few words before I say goodbye.
They use the freedom of speech to censor your right to speak against them. And when they use the terminology Islamophobia, it's just to stop you from criticizing the Islamist and the Muslim Brotherhood or all form of radicalism. The fact that Islamic Relief, for instance, is registered as a charity here, but all the way in Saudi Arabia, in UAE and other countries is banned because of the investigation that showed that this charity is sending money all the way to some terrorist groups in the Middle East.
Yes.
It tells you a lot.
So guys, it's very clear to me, to you, and anybody with half a brain cell in this country that what's going on is an absolute crime. What the government are doing to us is an attack on our country. It is like a foreign attack. Our government are the Trojan horse. There's no two ways about it, guys. You can't see it any other way. They know what they're doing. How can I find all this stuff? How can I find and there's more and more and more out there, guys. There's so many people warning us and telling us that we're destroying our country. But yet the government are keeping the doors open just because they get votes. Just so they can get votes. So everything that's happened to our children, the government are responsible for it. They need to be held accountable, guys. There's no two ways about it. One day we need to look back on this and find out what truly happened. And we do maybe need to bring criminal charges. Because they are implicit in the rape of Britain. I'm Freedom Dad. God bless every single one of you.